Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Carrie with Blue City Pickin', and I am a part-time reseller who goes around to estate sales, auctions, thrift stores to find things to flip for a profit on eBay. And I'm back with another research video for you today. I'm super excited to share this one because this was something that my kiddos used to enjoy back in the 2010s, and you will also hear the disappointment in my voice as we go through because we had a lot of these items that I'm pretty sure I rage cleaned out at some point over the past 5 to 10 years. So we're gonna dive into My Little Pony, but not the old school like Gen 1, Gen 2, or anything like that. We're gonna focus specifically in on My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, which is a TV cartoon that aired from 2010 to 2019. It was based off of the Hasbro toys, but MLP, this one followed the main 6. Yeah, I said main as in hair, not main as in M-A-I-N. Characters as they went on adventures throughout Equestria, solving problems with, spoiler alert, the magic of friendship. The main characters in this series are unicorns, pegasi, and earth ponies. You've got Twilight Sparkle, Rarity, Fluttershy, Applejack, Rainbow Dash, and Pinkie Pie are the main 6. And so I'm going to touch on a couple of the products that sell really, really well from the series that you should be on the lookout for, as well as the ones that are more rare. And then I'm also going to cover some of the character families that are outside of that main 6. And some of the side characters and like recurring guests on the show that you should pick up or look up no matter what, because they are a little bit more rare and worth a search. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, we ready? First thing is I'm going to go with the Build-A-Bear plush. And this is one of the ones that's heartbreaking for me because we literally had, I think, almost every single Build-A-Bear My Little Pony plush for years and with their accessories. But I gave them to somebody who loved them, and so no regrets, even though we did have this one. This is probably one of the most valuable ones. This is... it has multiple names, this particular character. I knew it as Muffins, but the people also call it Derpy because her eyes are a little bit kooky crazy. Like, look here, they're upside down and backwards. They call her Bubbles Ditsy Doo. She is rare. She's a brown or a blue, light blue Pegasi. And this one sold for $220. She was new with tags, but there are multiples of these that I'm showing you that have sold. Regardless of whether they're new with tags, they are still worth a pickup. Another one that is worth some good money from Build-A-Bear, and this is actually one that we didn't have. This is Big Macintosh. This is Applejack's brother, one of the side characters. It also has his yoke accessory on here. He is worth good money. He was not released in large quantity. Some of these side characters were only available via the online shop, and so that makes them more rare. So he is a red pony. He has an apple on his rear end. That is his cutie mark. In case you didn't know, that's what they call them on the MLP Friendship is Magic. Their little design on their tush is their cutie mark. And so Big Macintosh worth about $200, and he is definitely more rare. This next one is another rare Build-A-Bear. This is Starlight Glimmer. She came in towards the end of the series. She was not a recurring guest at the beginning, but take a look at her. She is a unicorn. This one's in really nice shape as far as the hair. It's not ratty or anything, and she sold for $100. Let me see. All right. So if you see a Build-A-Bear My Little Pony, it is worth a look up. The main 6 are not worth as much, but if you find like the little Cutie Mark Crusaders or like some of the smaller side characters, those are worth some money. And then these side characters like Big Mac, Muffins, Starlight Glimmer, Trixie, Zecora, there's a bunch of them. So if it doesn't look like a pony, that's the main 6, take a look at it, it's worth it. All right, next up is play sets. So this is also heartbreaking because we had a lot of these play sets too. They released play sets of places within Equestria as the show went on. They also released character play sets that were specific to certain episodes, and those are worth good money as well. So the first one I was going to show you was actually a Toys R Us exclusive. This is Queen Chrysalis, which she was the changeling queen. I don't know why I know all this. Just let me be weird. This was a Toys R Us exclusive set. You can see there are 7 plastic ponies in there. $400, y'all. Anytime you see something, that is Shining Armor. That is Twilight Sparkle's brother. And then I think Twilight Sparkle was down there on the there's Muffins Derpy again. There's Twilight Sparkle down there. So yeah, keep an eye on that. They are worth some good money. And then here is one that is from the wedding, Shining Armor again. That is Twilight Sparkle's brother. He actually has a Build-A-Bear pony that is worth some good money when he has his jacket on. This is Princess Cadence, his wife. This was the wedding castle when they got married. You can see Hub. That was the TV channel that it was on the first few years. This one has never been opened. So if you find the Pony Princess Wedding Castle, this is your logo. Friendship is Magic, $360 unopened. But to be clear, if you have this set and all the pieces that go with it, it is still worth good money opened. Okay, so don't sleep on that. So like if you find some of the characters or pieces, pick it up. All right, next up, this is Rarity, who is one of the main 6. This is her Carousel Boutique. We had this one where, yeah, let me see. Yeah, see, there is her Carousel Boutique. You could dress up the ponies. You had this guy, I cannot remember his name. He was like a fashionista that came to check out her shop. So there you go. Friendship is Magic Collection, MLP. Rarity is one of the main 6, but this particular play set sold for $99. Next play set, this is Pinkie Pie, one of the main 6s. Magic Suite Shop. This had a bunch of fun little accessories. It had her little pet Gummy. It had cheese sandwiches, pet Boneless, which was his chicken sidekick. Don't ask, guys. And then you had, here's Cheese Sandwich over here, who was a really popular side character. Yeah, his name is Cheese Sandwich. Like, I don't get it. I love it, though. He had a sidekick that was a rubber chicken named Boneless, y'all. Like, love it. Love it, love it, love it. This particular set sold for $80. All right, then you get into just the figures. So don't sleep on just the ponies. If you're able to get a large lot of them, they sell very, very well. Some of the individual ponies that were a little bit more rare sell great on their own. If you remember from the Build-A-Bears, Starlight Glimmer, she was a later character, so they didn't make as many of her. This particular pony sold for $74. And this is a 6-inch teeny tiny pony. That is your logo you're looking for. And then you want to make sure it says Hasbro on it. Another pony side character that is worth some good money. This is DJ Pony. I know it says DJ Pawn 3, but they pronounce it DJ Pony. She is a side character. She is the DJ in the show. This particular character, they had brushables, which were where their hair was longer. This one sold for $70, y'all. DJ Pone. Amazing. She also has a Build-A-Bear that is worth some good money that we had that I gave away. But it's okay. All right, next up, we're gonna go into some of the families, right? So this is Equestria Girls. This was a like spin-off of the main Friendship is Magic, My Little Pony. This is where they are like people-like figures, and it had movies, right? This is from one of the first movies called Rainbow Rocks. This is one of the bad guys, Adagio Dazzle. She was one of the sirens. I don't remember what they called themselves in the show, but it's really quite sad. But yeah, Adagio Dazzle. There were two other baddies in Rainbow Rocks. But if you see something that looks like My Little Pony, but it looks odd because it's like a humanoid type figure, it is likely from the Equestria Girls. Once again, same My Little Pony Equestria Girls. This one new in box sold for $570. I 100% know that I saw this in the store at some point and didn't buy it. My kiddos did have a bunch of Equestria Girls at one point. They did love playing with them. I think we mainly had the main 6 though. Here is one of the main 6 Equestria Girls. This is $225. This is Fluttershy, Rockin' Hairstyle Doll. I think she also came from Rainbow Rocks. Yep. Look at those shoes. She is a fashionista. She is a baddie. She sold for $225. Whew. And then here's the other 2 bad guys from Rainbow Rocks with Adagio, and I know 100% I saw these in the store. This is Sonata Dusk and Aria Blaze. Oh, they're the Dazzlings. That's what they were called. Look at that. Who wouldn't love it? $130 in box. But if you have the characters, once again, with the accessories, they will still sell. All right, next set of categories or character families are the Cutie Mark Crusaders. These are the little ponies, Scootaloo, Apple Bloom, and oh my gosh, why can I not remember her name now? Sweetie Belle, yep. And so these are little ponies that are trying to get their cutie marks. It's oh so adorable. Apple Bloom is related to Applejack. Scootaloo loves her some Rainbow Dash, and then I don't remember where Sweetie Belle came from. But if you find figures of the Cutie Mark Crusaders, they are worth some good money, and these right here, $55. Once again, keep an eye out for that particular logo on the foot and Hasbro. That will be a great indicator that these are the newer generation of MLPs. Let's see. The next character family is the Wonderbolts. This is Rainbow Dash right here. She has always wanted to be a Wonderbolt. And so they're like the Blue Angels of ponies, just in case you didn't know. Rainbow Dash is awesome. Take caution. She's awesome as she wants to be. The Dashinator, she's amazing. No fear. Daredevil, and just super awesome. So the Wonderbolts are who she tries out for at some point. You can see here, you've got Fluttershy in here. Look, that's not Muffin, but it sure looks a lot like her. You've got Spitfire, Pinkie Pie, and another one of the Wonderbolts over here. If you find these in package, they are worth some decent money. But once again, if you find them out of the package, pick them up. Make a lot. Make some money. All right, next up is the Apple family. So you heard me mention Applejack. You saw Big Macintosh at as one of the Build-A-Bear figures. There are a ton of these little like individual ponies that they sold that were part of the Apple family. The Apple family tree was very large. So you've got Apple Fritter, Jonagold, Apple Munchies, I think is its name, and Peachy Sweet. Pretty sure we had every single one of these at some point. They sold for about $20. So if you find them on card, pick them up. They're worth it. They are obscure side characters, not like the super popular ones like Muffin and Derpy and Trixie and some of the other ones, but popular nonetheless. And the collectible market for these MLPs, I can only imagine, will continue to grow. Another set of characters to be on the lookout for are Princess Celestia and Princess Luna, who also used to be known as Nightmare Moon. Spoiler alert. These are the main princesses of Equestria. Celestia, you meet at the very beginning. She is Twilight Sparkle's mentor. She is an alicorn. So a unicorn with wings. So that is what those are called in this particular show. You can see here we have Rainbow Shimmer Celestia, Rainbow Shimmer Luna, your My Little Pony logo. These sold for $45. And I can say, I can say I never saw these in the store. So interesting. But yeah, keep an eye out for Celestia and Luna. And then I already mentioned Shining Armor, who is Twilight Sparkle's brother in the Wedding Castle and in the Build-A-Bear. He's worth money pretty much however you can pick him up. His wife Cadence and their daughter Flurry Heart are also very popular characters in the My Little Pony universe. And worth some money. You can see somebody picked this up at Dee Dee's discount for $4.99 once upon a time, and it sold for $28. All right, now we're going to get into some of the recurring guest characters that are my absolute favorite. We will scroll down because they did make multiple types of merch with these specific characters that I just chef's kiss, right? Okay, the first one is Derpy Muffin. As I mentioned, the Build-A-Bear is worth some good money. This one is unstuffed, but there's other types of plush of Muffin. This is an Ole Factory Derpy plush from 2014 that sold for $165. Here is a lunchbox and poster that sold for $76. Here's a comic book signed by the character who speaks Derp, $100. Here is an Erases. I've never even heard of that, but it sold for $65. There's the lunchbox. Here's just some of those smaller on-card ones that sold for $35 to $40 pretty regularly. And then, like I was saying, if you have a lot of these particular characters, just lot them up and you will still make some good money. So don't sleep on Derpy. You will know it is Derpy and Muffins by looking at the eyeballs. All right, the next character I want to cover is Trixie Lulamoon. This is a character that is the great and powerful Trixie, who is a terrible magician, but she learns through the magic of friendship how she should be. I'm just joking. But if you find some of the Trixie merch, it's worth decent money. This is a rarer one for $2.99. Here is something with a DVD. I presume this was probably her episode for $75. One of the smaller characters on card selling for $60. She's in this lot right here for $60, and then even just her by herself is selling for about $40. And this came from the wedding set at the beginning. There's the Build-A-Bear right here, not worth as much here, but I had the hat and the cape, and I'm pretty sure if you had that, you would have made a lot more on that Build-A-Bear. But yeah, check her out. Here's the hat and the cape look for her. But yeah, check out Trixie Lulamoon. Next is my husband's favorite character. Its name is Discord. He is chaos incarnate. There are not a lot of figures for Discord, so if you find him, I would pick him up. He, as you can tell, has a very eclectic look. Every limb and body part is a different animal, but he's living his best life over here and causes chaos until he becomes a good guy. Another spoiler alert. But yeah, if you find Discord, pick up Discord. He's amazing. And then there's one more that I wanted to call out that is one of my favorites as well. This is Zecora. Zecora is, she's like a zebra striped pony that is when one of the first episodes, she's like Mama Odie in the forest from Tiana. Kind of like that kind of a vibe in the forest. I loved her. She also had a Build-A-Bear. I did not see any recently sold of those, but any small, like one little plastic figure of Zecora worth, you know, $10, $15. Here's some more. There's Discord again. Here's a Zecora brushable for $42. But yeah, keep an eye out for Zecora as well. All right. There are so many more characters that I love on this show, like Countess Coloratura, who is a play on Lady Gaga. We already talked about Cheese Sandwich and his trusty sidekick, Boneless, who is a rubber chicken. Maud Pie, who is Pinkie Pie's sister, but an emo version. And if you've watched the show and you know who Pinkie Pie is, it is hilarious to see this diametrically opposite character play her sister. Cranky Doodle, who's a grumpy old donkey. Like, I could keep going and going and going for all the characters that I just found so much joy in watching this with my kids. The other thing, like, they have something called Manhattan in Equestria, where it's like Manhattan, but Manhattan. If you've never watched this show, there's things for kids and adults, but the collectibles are definitely starting to, like, increase in value. And these toys and seeing this today just brought back all the feels and disappointment that I got rid of so many of them instead of just putting them away for later. But I've learned my lesson on some of that stuff, and I've started to put away some of my kids' stuff so that they don't have to go hunting for it when they get older like I am. So thank you so much for stopping by. If you like research videos, I have several out on the channel at this one on Play School, Nickelodeon plush, Webkins, and vintage Kenner plush, which is super fun. I'd appreciate it if you would give this video a like, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.